Before it's too late, after 70, there are three things you should never say, never do, and never go. Friends, if you've crossed into your 70s, you already know that life begins to carry a different rhythm. The days pass faster, people around you change, and your own body whispers reminders that every choice matters more than ever before. The truth is, at this stage, life is not just about counting years. It's about making the years count. That's why today's message is so important. I want to share with you three things you should never say, never do, and never go to. Because these three quietly steal your health, your happiness, and your dignity. And I won't tell them in the usual order. I'll start with the one most people overlook, then move to one that's deeply personal, and end with the most powerful of all. The one you must hear before it's too late. Before we begin, I want to remind you, if you find these words meaningful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. You never know whose life you might touch with a simple act of sharing wisdom. Number 1, never go where your spirit feels small. First, the third on the list, but the one I want you to hear right now, never go where your spirit feels small. At this age, your energy is like fine gold. It must not be wasted in places that shrink your soul. Think about it. Maybe it's a family member's home where you're treated as a burden. Maybe it's a social circle where people spend more time gossiping than uplifting. Or perhaps it's even a church, club, or group you've been loyal to for decades. But each time you leave, you feel more drained, more doubtful, and less alive than before. When you were younger, you might have endured it to keep the peace, to maintain appearances, or simply because you thought you had to. But after 70, the price is far too high. Every visit to a place that steals your joy is a day spent in quiet misery. And those days are days you will never get back. Your surroundings shape your spirit, and your spirit shapes your health. Medical research from American universities has shown that seniors who keep positive, nurturing environments tend to live longer, heal faster, and maintain sharper memory. So before it's too late, protect your soul from the shadows. Step away from places where you feel unseen or diminished, and instead seek out spaces where you feel valued, energized, and alive. Maybe it's joining a community gardening project in your town, volunteering at the library, or attending a local music group where laughter fills the air. Choose spaces that remind you of your worth, and if you agree, drop a quick comment below. I choose joy. Let's fill the comment section with affirmations of life. Number 2, never do what breaks your body to please others. The next on the list, never do what breaks your body for the sake of pleasing others. By now, you've spent decades lifting, carrying, serving, and sacrificing. You've raised children, held jobs, taken care of homes, and carried burdens heavier than most people will ever know. But at this stage of life, the worst mistake is ignoring your body's warnings just to avoid saying no. Maybe it's hauling heavy grocery bags into the house because you don't want to inconvenience your son or daughter. Maybe it's standing for hours at a family cookout in the heat because you don't want anyone to think you're weak. Maybe it's eating food that upsets your stomach just because it was cooked with love and you don't want to refuse. But here's the truth. Your body is your only permanent home. If you damage it now, recovery takes longer, hurts more, and sometimes never comes at all. A strained back at 40 might heal in weeks. A strained back at 75 might change your mobility forever. The people who love you will understand when you protect your health. And those who don't respect your limits, they don't deserve to dictate how you live. Remember this. You are not a burden for guarding your well-being. You are wise. Every no to something that hurts your body is a yes to more laughter, more independence, and more mornings without pain. So I urge you, listen when your body whispers, so it doesn't have to scream. Honor it by setting boundaries. And don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. If you're listening and you've ever struggled with saying no, write this in the comments. My health matters. Number 3, never say words that close your own doors. Finally, the most important one, the first in meaning, but the last I'll share. Never say words that close your own doors to life. After 70, your words carry even more weight. They're not just communication, they're declarations to your mind, your body, and your spirit. When you say, "I'm too old for that," your brain believes it. When you whisper, "It's too late for me," your heart puts down its dreams. When you repeat, "I can't," your body gives up trying. I once knew a retired teacher in Arizona, Mr. Thomas, who at 91 began learning the violin for the first time in his life. People asked him, "Why now?" And he simply said, "Why not now?" He played for 4 years, not perfectly, but joyfully. And when he passed, his family didn't remember his age, they remembered the music. The most dangerous prison is not built of walls, but of our own words. So instead of shutting doors with phrases of defeat, open them with words of hope. I'm still learning. I'm willing to try. My best days are not behind me. Even science confirms it. Optimistic seniors have stronger hearts, better immunity, and longer lives. So, guard your words, plant flowers, not weeds. Speak to yourself the way you would to a dear friend. Protecting spirit, body, and mind. Friends, you might notice each of these 3 warnings is about protection, protecting your spirit from toxic places, protecting your body from harmful choices, and protecting your mind from limiting words. Because here's the truth. After 70, every single day is a sacred page in the final chapters of your story, and you don't want those chapters filled with regret about where you went, what you did, or what you said. You want them filled with dignity, laughter, and peace. So ask yourself, what will you protect first? Story of Margaret. Before we close, let me share a story. A few years ago, I met an 82-year-old woman named Margaret from Ohio. For most of her life, she went to the same weekly group of friends, but she confessed to me that every week. She left feeling smaller. Their conversations revolved around sickness, disappointment, and bitterness. One spring morning, she chose differently. She signed up for a beginner's painting class at her local community center. She hadn't picked up a paintbrush since childhood. On the first day, she whispered to herself, "I'm too old for this." But the teacher, a kind man in his 60s, overheard and gently told her, "You're right on time." 3 years later, Margaret's paintings now hang in the local library. With tears in her eyes, she told me, "I wish I had walked away from that old group 20 years earlier." My friends, you don't need 20 years. You only need today. Conclusion. So now I ask you, which of these 3 will you begin with? Will you step away from the places where your soul feels small? Will you stop doing things that quietly harm your body? Or will you begin speaking words that give you life instead of taking it away? Whichever you choose, do it now, because time is not waiting. I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 3 speaks to you the most right now? And is there one you wish you had learned earlier? Your words may inspire another soul to take action before it's too late. And if this message touched you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Together, we can build a community where aging is not a decline, but a deepening of wisdom. Remember, friends, your 70s are not an ending. They are a chance to write some of the richest chapters of your life. Protect your spirit, guard your body, choose your words carefully, and live with the dignity you deserve.